Good
for
morning.
a program that has evinced a lot of interest in the form of registrations from all over the country and outside of the country. We realize the topic of today's webinar is paramount for many reasons. COVID times have taught us a lot of lessons, with the first lesson being research has to take the front seat and people have to come together to do research to finding any succor for this problem. The national NAC accreditations, the new education policy, all of this have put, of course, research at the forefront. But whenever research begins on any new problem, the initial stages are observational in nature and are very important to laying the foundation for further research. When we talk about observational research, we know during the COVID time, there are differences in various ways. The virus has not spared continents. The virus has not shown any difference between race, religion, populated versus thinly populated areas, sex, or any other differences that are existing between the human being and the continent. Having said this, when we think about what is research, we need to have people who have been in the forefront in this country to help us follow certain principles of good research practices. When does research stop is another question. Do we need to have the IPR in place, the intellectual property rights? Do we need to patent? If we say patenting, what do we understand by the term? These are many, many questions that have been coming forth. And the meaning of today's webinar is to introduce all those who are interested to the various programs that are going on in this country, as also the way in which the country needs to progress. The interest that is evinced through the very, very large number of registrations of the young, of the very senior, of administrators shows that this is a topic where the beginnings have to be made, and in future, a series of webinars to proceed with responsible conduct would be the bottom line. Now, when we, of course, talk about webinars, this Nitte University has been in the forefront in organizing such webinars. And may I now request our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Satish Kumar Bhandari, to offer his opening remarks. Before I request him to do that, I would like to briefly introduce him to the very diverse audience who have registered for this event. Professor Satish Kumar Bhandari is an otorhinolaryngologist. When he started his profession, he rose from the ranks of an assistant professor and to the dean of the medical school, namely the A.S. Hegde Medical Academy. His experience during the stages has enabled him to understand the problems that could be associated with research, and therefore only appropriate that when he head the institution as the Vice Chancellor, his research acumen and desire for all these in the university to collaborate, coordinate research, finds him the appropriate person to offer his opening remarks. Professor Satish Kumar Bhandari, sir, could you please offer your opening remarks?
Thank you, Indrani, for a wonderful introduction. I'm delighted to welcome you all for this important webinar hosted by Nitte deemed to be university. As Indrani said, we are addressing a very important issue of research and development and intellectual property right during COVID pandemic. As you are all aware, the whole world is going through an unprecedented situation and financial crisis due to corona. Naturally, this will have a very bad impact on the research funding, both by government and private agencies. I think this extraordinary time we have to be very shrewd and we have to change our strategy also. To be very successful during the uncertain times, one has to change the area of research and innovation related to particularly viral diseases. Not only changing of focus of research and development, also we should protect our intellectual property right in a situation where a highly competitive situation, where a large number of innovators are coming out with novel solutions that will help the society in addressing the problems, particularly related to day-to-day problems like personal protection equipment, hand hygiene, social distancing, various diagnostic and treatment modalities. Particularly now we are talking about ventilators, drugs and vaccines. I think there will be a lot of new things will come and we have to protect our intellectual property right. In this context, this webinar is intended to inform the faculty about opportunities available for research from national and international agencies, research priorities, basic and translation research, and how to write Finnish research applications. This webinar will provide information about how to protect the intellectual property right for our new findings, new processes, new products following Indian patent filing procedures. I understand that the information about patent and IPR is given by very learned resource person, Dr. Sharan Gowda, the Assistant Controller of Patent Office, Chennai. And I hope his talk will also provide useful tips to the faculty on how to file a successful patent application. I hope all the participants interested in research and innovation will be benefited by this webinar. And we are fortunate to have with us very distinguished faculty. Professor T.S. Rao needs no introduction. Good friend of mine, retired senior advisor to DBT is with us. Professor India Karunasagar, our senior scientist and senior director of foreign collaborations of Nitte University, and Dr. Sharan Gowda, as I said earlier, Assistant Controller of Patent Office, Chennai. On behalf of the university, I thank all the distinguished faculty for sparing their very valuable time to participate in this webinar. I welcome all of them to this webinar. Thank you for cooperating with us. And I hand it over to Indrani for further proceedings. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Yes, sir. Yes. Thank you very much for that, I should say, warm introduction of our panelists, albeit brief, because you know that the details will be presented during the course of this webinar. How to make best use of research funding opportunities was the title that was thought of when we decided that we would have a gentleman who was leading as a senior advisor the Department of Biotechnology. I'm speaking of none other than Dr. T.S. Rao. Dr. Rao started his career with malaria research, but that was, I would believe, for quite a short time because that enabled him to get into the organization, the Department of Biotechnology, as one of the pioneers who took care of various research areas. His own interest in the Department of Biotechnology related to vaccine research. In vaccine research, he dealt in great depth, he dealt on the rota vaccine programs, on the poliovirus eradication programs, not to forget certain other areas of medical biotechnology, such as human genetics and, of course, genome analysis programs. He also set up various consortia in this country to bring together people to work in collaboration to get the best results out. Dr. Rao, though retired, can never retire because he has to do the hand holding for a lot of young people in this country. Sir, we are extremely delighted that you agreed to be here with us for this webinar. Having said that, I would, of course, like to ask you to address our young as well as senior administrators, middle-level scientists who have registered on various topics, beginning with the most simple, which relates to a large number of funding agencies being available for extramural research. And since you have been associated with all of them at this COVID time or with research related to other areas, because they cannot take a back seat. The comorbid conditions, as you know, are as important as the pandemic that is now specifically targeting a lot of people with comorbid conditions. Having said that, since you have been leading many areas of research in Department of Biotechnology in the past and the present as well, you are also associated with the Department of Science and Technology, the Indian Council of Medical Research, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, the Wellcome Trust, and so on. Now, one of the questions that probably we would like you to speak to all those present here is, how can people start looking at these agencies for their own research needs? Do these agencies support bilateral research projects, collaborative research projects? How can we go forward? Then there are other issues of funding agencies, mentoring scientists, which you did when you were in DBT. How is a proposal best prepared for best results? What do funding agencies look for in any proposal? How are proposals evaluated? Is there an internal screening procedure before the proposals go for evaluation by external experts? Do agencies look for relative experience and publication of the principal investigator? Do the organizations give reasons for rejection of a proposal, since this is very important for improving? And having said all of this, how is a project perceived for review if it is from a private institute or from a government institute? Do you think that the private institutions are encouraged by the government bodies? In my opinion, they are, and the perception has changed a lot to looking at merit for support rather than looking to see from where the particular project has come. And since we see that there are a lot of important institutions like the IITs, the Indian Institute of Science, Central Institute of Universities, all getting very good support, there has been a doubt in the minds of many people who have laid down questions whether there is any institutional bias. Do you think we could approach all of these different institutes for handholding? Now, I would like you to delve on a lot of these points that I mentioned briefly. We know time is limited, but I request you to set right the doubts that have come through various questions from those who have registered. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, madam. It was a nice introduction. Good morning to all of you, and thanks for this opportunity to share some of my thoughts during this webinar. And it's a great idea. Probably this COVID has made us to behave differently with social distance and also now physical distance also. So it's a great opportunity, and I'm very happy to be here with all of you. And Professor Bhandari, I'm really thankful to you, and both in Indrani as well as Dr. Ida Karunasagar. You made my task very easy, madam. What I will try to say that for the past 30-35 years of my being associated associated with various funding agencies, and being myself a scientist, initially I used to work in the lab. Then I used to understand what scientists face a problem in the laboratory, because we had to enable, we had to really facilitate our scientific community to best of what we are supposed to get, and to away from this financial and administrative hurdles what we face during our implementation of some of the projects. So that's the reason why DBT was created in 1986, thinking that the biotechnology area is very important and is going to the futuristic. That's why Professor Ramachandran is to be our first secretary, and this department has came out in the functioning. So I am the first recruitee in the Department of Biotechnology. Earlier I used to work in the National Institute of Communicable Diseases, where I used to work more of polio related. That taught me, and also the experience, how a scientist working in the laboratory face a lot of difficulties in that. So that made us to think differently. That's why you must have seen that compared to other funding agencies, DBT is always a different way of functioning. So that's what taught by our founder secretary, Professor Ramachandran. So that makes a difference, because we are not the administratively bureaucrats. We have to work with all of you and get best of what you leads available, translate them appropriately and the right time for the societal benefit of that. That was a basic theme all of us had in our mind. That's the reason why the DBT is different from many other funding agencies over there. I don't want to go more details on that. All of you must have experienced in that particular for several years. Probably both of you are Karna Sagar and both of you experienced our DBT, working with DBT. So come back on the issue what she raised. What and foremost, this COVID has really given a great opportunity for all of us to think differently. So the funding agencies also now changing our style of functioning and also focusing. See, you look at this particular virus, it is not behaving like normal viruses, It is totally different, even 46 degrees temperature in a different parts of the country. Still, it is surviving and transmission is going on uninterrupted. So that means normal, natural living forms or viruses, they will die with the temperature raising. But this is something really unusual. All of us are really surprised to see every day some new surprise coming from the world. Everybody's working on that. More than 200 countries are affected. It's like a Spanish flu in 100 years back. That also made a lot of learning to all of our researchers as well as the clinicians, and made us to think differently. So come back on this. All of you should take best utilization of this particular opportunity and design your research proposals in such a way that how to tackle this particular calamity, or I should say that this crisis, so that how the biology of this virus is behaving. Like we also had a 2002 as a SARS. I also felt that SARS also made a lot of proposals at that time. Again, 2012. Then you have the H1N1 problem. That time also we made a lot of vaccine with regulatory framework to be accelerated mode. Today also we are thinking the different way when to get this vaccine quickly. But normally, my experience with vaccine, it will take the minimum 8 to 10 to 12 months. It's not possible to quickly get this vaccine tomorrow. So we need a lot of safety related issues, because preclinical, phase 1, phase 2, and phase 3, post-marketing surveillance. But at least up to going to phase 3, you need minimum 12 to 18 months. So that's what my experience. Unusually, Rotavac has taken us a lot of time so that because that time there were not a GMP facility was available in the country. I had to go back to the Washington with Dynacorp, and I prepared a GMP material, 1,000 doses, brought back to India and conducted phase 1 clinical trial in a then safety and dose escalation studies, followed by the time we set up a GMP, then we produced the vaccine and we conducted large number of subjects were recruited. for more than 9,000 subjects were recruited. So all this process really, it is set. Protocols have been set up, a regulatory framework has been really worked out, and you need to DSMBs, you also ethical clearances, all these really process, all of you know very well about it. I'm not going to take anything new about those issues. Come back to on this, what Madam has raised some of the questions about that. See, first and foremost, for all of you to think critically. See, before starting any project, before even designing any project, unless until you critically think how it is relevant to the country, how relevant it is in the society, how relevant it is going to make your 5 to 10 years of your duration of the project, what your expected outcome from this, rationale of the project, and what are those issues related to this particular project, and how nationally, internationally is relevant to that. So without looking at these issues, people start writing a project and come back sending to the funding agencies. Because I was a chairman of the internal screening committee, which I will tell the process how it goes later on. But when I was internal screening committee chairman for 10 years, 12 years, what I saw in every month in DBT, we used to get around 15 to 2,000 proposals every month. Then earlier we used to sit for 3 months. Initially it used to come to 100, 115, but later on it has increased. Then earlier we used to sit for 3 months. Every 3 months we used to internal screening committee. Then we used to evaluate the projects within the department, and we used to go for funding processing process. But later on, the proposals have come more than 15 to 2,000. Then we started to remove the backlogs. We started doing the monthly basis. We have worked out on that. So that made us to think the projects which coming to us is a really, I should not say, sorry to say that, is a trash. People are not even applied their mind because they sit in the grass jotting some of the points without even understanding that where they stand, what they are going to do, how they are going to rationale the proposal, and what is the expected outcome, what is specific objectives, what are this methodology which you followed. All these really need to address very specifically, because all of you are very young faculty and doing that. Without critical thinking, if you send the proposal, it will be going to trash and you waste your time. And also, my experience, I used to trash around 40% of our proposal received in a DBT. So that was the rate of our rejection. Rest when after this internal screening committee, then we used to make task forces processing the proposal, then task force, another 20% will go away. So 60% gone. So another 20% usually during your transactions with the documentation and financial, all issues, another 10 to 15% will go. So ultimately the fundable projects are only 10 to 12. That too very clear, good proposals, what we thought of that. So these all processes learned us, and we are taught us so many take-home messages for that. And we also address everywhere the same thing without properly thinking, designing the proposal with individual innovative ideas or crowd pulling ideas, brainstorming. You have to really spend more time. Why Stanford India Biodesign program has made 44, 47 technologies today? Because our process of selection of the proposals designing is different. Out of 500 ideas which we get through brainstorming, we only get around 5 to 10, or even that's a very high. 5 to 6 proposal come and we'll just forward our clinical evaluation. Then finally, they go into testing and they will be utilized for our hospitals over there. So some of these best models which are available to us, which I was really initiated this proposal. Second is, you being sitting in the Nitte is a wonderful clinical infrastructure. You have a beautiful hospital, wonderful faculty, and you are really, what I exposed to your place is thanks to your Vice Chancellor and entire management of the Nitte, created a wonderful platform and ambience for all of you. Only the difference in that, if you are not making use of the basic scientists coming to the clinicians over there, this glue grant scheme, which I started in 2009, 2010, that really made a wonderful progress into that glue grant. Glue means just simple glue, making the basic scientists and clinicians together so that you jointly design a proposal with some 5 to 6 domains and with expected outcome and with timelines very strictly. Then you should have a joint PhDs or joint faculty working together. So everybody will grow together and make this difference in the translating your research outcome there. So all of you are very aware of that. Sorry, I'm speaking very, very fast. Sorry,
No, it's fine.
Okay. It's okay, fine. Because you are given time limit, I thought I'll just finish some of the important points. So then, no, why I'm telling this important issue all over the world, because I visited almost 30, 40 countries. So wherever you are talking about the biotechnology, I'm only restricted myself to the biomedical research and biotechnology. Unless until your research outcomes is translationable and people should appreciate T1, T2 translation is very easy. But going back to T3, T4 translation is very tedious. And also you need to a lot of effort should go into that, to designing of your clinical trial, evaluating that particular antigen or particular device into a real utility of the society to that. So the T1 to T4 translation, what I say, T1, T2 is very easy, where you are within the laboratory. But T3, T4, you go out of the laboratory and you need to work out in a different way. So I hope you have made it very clearly. People think that, why my project has been rejected at DST, DBT, SCRB or ICMR, DHR. That is really not of because the project is not up to the mark. Your critical evaluation of the proposal is not withstanding our criteria, evaluation criteria. If you really know proposal in DBT, I saw that excellent proposal, good proposal, without will never rejected because of lack of funds. Because somehow I went to Planning Commission, Finance Ministry, got, and even international funding of $2 million, which I got from NIAID, funded them. Even that plasma-derived hepatitis B, during those periods, there was no recombinant hepatitis HBsAg. I think still I went to Madras, basic science group in Madras University with Dr. Vijay, that now is in Ramachandra Medical College, with where we created a plasma-derived hepatitis B vaccine and connected to the CDC Atlanta, and we produced a vaccine. But we got money. It's not that lack of money, we know good proposal has been rejected. So this I want to make clear to you. If the excellent proposal, Grand Challenge Program, Grand Challenge proposal is coming to us, we never reject. We'll somehow find a grant and provide to you. And come back to on this government-funded institutions and private institutions. Earlier we used to think about that, but today that's all gone now. Because only criteria what we look into that, DSIR approved laboratory is required. That is R&D laboratory, which is recognized by DSIR. That makes you try to implement the proposal with ethical clearances and all those issues into that. So what I'm trying to tell you, youngsters, please, 100 times you should think critical. And that's the only mantra make you success. All this now, COVID also making all of us very, very differently, because 100 candidate vaccines people are proposing. I don't think 100 candidate vaccines is going to make any change. mRNA-based vaccine, which is people are thinking about, the long stability of that mRNA-based vaccines are really going to be challenging later on. Adenovirus-based, then you have a therapeutic with antibodies. All these are all coming to that. Therefore, yesterday I had a big vaccine group. We addressed so many issues into that. Definitely, one is a prophylactic vaccine, another is the very passive immunization with your therapeutic vaccine. All need to be worked out on those issues. So, see, not only COVID now, we had another 16 to 17 infectious which no vaccine available to us. Like varicella zoster we have, nobody using all those things for a long way. So some of these, being in a medical school, having a basic scientist strong enough over there, probably you need to work together, learn together, work together, and translate that research outcome into societal benefit to that. That's my clear message to all of you. We have a rapid grant, but another is a rapid grant where youngsters you provide a little bit of funds, ask them to think differently and come out with quickly the research outcome of those things. Design, because even designing of the vaccine candidate or designing any product, designing of your medical technologies is very challenging into all these issues. And then going to act therapeutic in the pharma basis, that also you need to have, again, the people are struggling to this COVID. What are the drugs which is available? The CSIR is working, ICMR is working, and we have several groups are working. Yesterday I saw that when vitamin D deficiency, that is really challenging to that. Like diet deficiency. Now in COVID, I think those who are having vitamin D deficiency, they are more prone to get this infected with COVID-19. We have European studies with 63%, and even Mohan Diabetic Foundation, they also came out with a beautiful study how this vitamin D is affecting this infection with different groups, whether it is diabetes or cardiovascular or other comorbidities available to them. So my clear message is that please look into all these issues. We know little, there's a lot of things very available to them. Because none of it is perfect, because crowdsourcing, why I'm saying, you have to have a brainstorming with a group of people and design a proposal which really make a sense into funding agencies. So again, I want to make it very clear that there's no difference nowadays between private institutions and public funded institutions. Where we get best, we get back to other issues. And see, one issue was earlier was when I used to started in 20 years back. So these funding agents, the private institutions are making money, but they are profit-making organizations. So giving government funding to them, it is no sense giving to them, because they should generate internal funding and start researching. It's not possible. I think unless until you competitive basis, you have to come back to the funding agencies, and you have to be, or only we expect some matching grant coming from the funding agency, these institutions, then you supplement some of the funding coming to over there. With large funding comes into that. So, but clear to all of you, there's no such a difference nowadays. We funded, Nitte got so many funding from different organizations, and also like SRB we got, SRM also we got, then we got Vignan and Geetam, then Narayana Medical College, several places now. We have even in Delhi, we fund also with the Samiti and other groups into that. So I hope I am clear that there's no such thing, but excellent proposal. No, without a lack of fund, we will not reject, because of you are a private institution. No way. Secondly, you have to prioritize your requirement, because what is nation required today? So today, what is it? Suppose in the COVID time, we had a problem of ventilators. Suppose your biomedical research, instrumentation group should design ventilators with a low cost and affordable cost, like in the 15,000 rupees in the, that is in the AIMS we developed a ventilator. It is hand holding, because through Indo-US forum I gave a lot of funding to Bangalore group, where we given some 50-20 crore I gave to a chain of hospitals over there. They developed ventilators, hand-holding ventilators, hand-hold ventilators, and they supply to the entire group into that. So such type of grand challenge programs one must identify, and with the excellent group, because group also very important. The selection of your investigators, selection of your people, selection of your youngsters, all that really makes a what you call like a kheer, when you make a nice payasam dish. What it contains. It contains a lot of everything is a good. So that makes a taste is very different. So in the same pattern, if you make this your research groups over here, with the consortium model. Because again, coming back on consortium model, because why HIV vaccine is only 40% efficacy. And there's so many things, why people are not coming together and making those loose ends together and make the consortium model to fast way we can develop a efficient vaccine. So like that, many more things, because whether it is medical technologies or whether the therapeutics or with the diagnostics or the vaccines and your pharma, all these really a simple mantra is the same thing. If you all together multi-institutional, multi-investigators coming together with their expertise, it's the fastest way we can develop over there. How many in Europe and USA, there's so many investigators coming together, different institutions, because they have that type of model which created with multi-centric, multi-institutional. So here also I thought all of you should collectively come back together, because like CCMB have some expertise, and you have a Nitte there, and you have a Geetam, you have a Narayana, or you have something like Bangalore University, or Bangalore University. Inapoya is a very wonderful place. You have next door with you, and they have a human model which they have with them. And don't create a new everywhere. No, use existing infrastructure, existing facilities over there with understanding MOU, and you design such proposals greatly. Thank you very much. I thought one more thing also, when DST or DBT, we have that internal screening committee, followed by then we have a tech committee where we send for processing of the proposal for the 5 experts. 5 experts receive the proposal from 5 experts, comments from 5 experts. Then we have there's a limit we have now created up to 5 crore. Then above 5 crore, it will go to our apex body, biotech apex body. So that will the final authority into that, where our NK Aroda and the entire group is present over there. And it's a good way, because unless and because we don't want to evaluate the proposal with the same scale. So 25 lakhs, 25 crore should have a different parameters, different bar to be evaluated to that. So youngsters, the glue grant, which I used, this rapid grant, within 8 weeks, I started only funding 40 to 1 crore without any presentation by the investigators. We only fund innovative idea. Only I used to look at right side, not left side. So that within 8 weeks, your sanction order will be in your hand, so that the young investigators below 40 years, they will definitely excited. We need to catch hold of that the requirement, and also they're excited about that proposal writing. And becoming a principal investigator at that age is exciting to the youngsters, because in our traditionally, the principal investigator will become only after 50, 55 years, because by that time we're only working with a professor and not having independent grant. So that's why I called facilitating also what enablers, because they should learn from that one. Today 40 lakhs, the next stage will go 40 crore. So that's the project process I made into that. And come back to that one with BIRAC. Recently, BIRAC also we created, where we translate our leads available in a different R&D proposal into major leads. They'll facilitate with a lot of requisite expertise, so you don't have to work much, because they will also identify the industry, and for manufacturing, once the lead is really POC established into that. Second is we also established a THSTI, then CDSA, Clinical Development Service Agency, where we also created expertise, so that you don't face the problem of evaluating the antigen into clinical evaluation system with all requisite DSMB, then ethical, and all that related issues into that one. So third is we have a India Alliance with Wellcome Trust group, where we opened up with a large number of collaborators coming together with definite reason. Recently, the call was there, it just ended on 20th or 21st, this month, last month, so that you submit the proposal, and within timelines, they approve with large funding into that. This is India Alliance with DBT Wellcome Trust group. So then DST also follows the same. We are first to getting the proposals, then we go to screening, then you have a technical committee, then followed by presentations wherever required into that. Because the DBT also nowadays we do sometimes presentations and we avoid because of lack of time and all those. Like ICMR, it does the same thing. Then you have CSIR, then you also one more this CSIR, ICMR, DHR, also a lot of funding. So what there's in addition to this all this funding, you also Bill and Melinda Gates. The call comes every 3 months. You are specific $1 lakh they give for innovative idea. Once you clear that award, then you make a major grant they will provide to you to continue all those issues, grand challenge programs into that. So I get regularly, I send even that FICCI dealing with the Millennium Alliance group, then we have a NIH group and in addition to that, even Government of India, where you have a women scientist consortium, many things are available that without in presentation, the 15 to 20 lakhs, you get easily the idea which you generate. All these you need to really avail available funding agencies initiatives into that. So it's an ample opportunity for all of you, and you should just go through all these websites. Still more information you get into that. But again, without critical thinking, without properly designing the proposal, you will not get anything. One more thing, then the private institutions, why we insist on that, you need to have all prerequisites of the committees. One is that your ethical committee, you need to have a preclinical, that is a institutional animal ethics committee. Then you should have that 16th October 2017, we had ICMR and the DBT, we were all together. I was a part of that joint committee, created ethical guidelines. They're all now the latest is available in the ICMR website. So you should strictly follow wherever the human recruitment is there. You need to follow those ethical guidelines into those issues. Second is DSMB with the Safety Management Board. You should set up for the clinical trials wherever you are involved into those issues. If you have all these statutory committees are available with you, research committees, all these things available, and nobody can stop you getting funding from funding agencies of Government of India. So in a nutshell, some of these things, but the details I can speak whenever you have some questions, I can answer those things. Anyhow, thank you very much for this opportunity. Hope I exceeded my time, but I thought this initial information is required. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Your experience has spoken for the various awards that have been bestowed on you, and you are leading this country even during this crucial time. We're all grateful that you found time to participate here today, and we look forward always to your support and guidance. I will now move on to a presentation by Dr. Karna Sagar. Dr. Karna Sagar is with Nitte University as the Senior Director. He will speak about the baby steps that Nitte University has taken towards a research culture that is gaining both national and international recognition. In saying so, I would be failing if I do not place on record the support that has been received by the management with the Chancellor at the helm of the affairs, led by the Pro-Chancellors and the Vice-Chancellor, who have taken the bold step of setting up an Institute of Science Education and Research, which has enabled us to achieve whatever little we are dreaming of. And we hope this will continue to attract more and more collaborations from other partners within the institute and outside of the institute and outside of the country. Dr. Karna Sagar, a Humboldt Fellow, has of course been with the Food and Agriculture Organization and with the WHO for a period of about 10 to 12 years and continues to offer his services as a consultant as and when requested. And in guiding us through some of the activities in this university, it is only appropriate that when we lead such a webinar, we also showcase what Nitte University is trying to do, which, if it is worth emulating, it would be very good for those youngsters and for the administrators who are watching this show. Over to Dr. Karna sir.
Thank you very much. So what I will do is I'll make a presentation on okay. Is it coming on the screen? No, first slide. Sharing how to. 1 second. Yeah, now I think it's coming. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's fine.
Could you put it on slideshow, please?
Yeah, it's coming.
Yeah, now it's. So, yeah, I will try to tell you about what Nitte is doing to promote research and IPR. So, one of the things Nitte has done is to form a research directorate, which is coordinating research at various institutions of Nitte deemed to be university. And there are research coordinators at each of the institutions. And another major step that Nitte has taken is to award intramural research grants. Research grants of up to 2 lakh per faculty is given to initiate research. So this is intended as a startup grant to generate preliminary data that could support application of extramural research grants from funding agencies. So the total budget for this is about 70 to 80 lakhs. And we have a research advisory committee with external eminent experts. We have seen Dr. T.S. Rao, we heard from him a little while ago. And we also have Dr. N.K. Ganguly, who is the retired Director General of ICMR, and Dr. Shubhada Chiplunkar, former Director of Advanced Center for Treatment, Research and Education in Cancer. And we also have faculty meetings and discussion with external experts. So whenever they come to Nitte for our advisory committee meeting, so we organize some small group meeting so that our faculty can interact with them and get some ideas on how to proceed with their research ideas and get some research funding. And another activity that we do is conducting workshop on multidisciplinary research project formulation. So mainly connecting, as Dr. T.S. Rao said, we need to connect clinicians with basic researchers. So this idea of this meeting is for mainly to interact in this way. So provide examples of bedside to bench research and how to design a study and what are the critical elements in a research proposal and how to formulate research projects that are fitting the requirements of funding agencies, encouraging multidisciplinary research. So the Nitte group also has an engineering college. So we are trying to bring engineers here, connecting engineers with medical professionals and biologists. So we had several rounds of these meetings between medical professionals, engineers, and these have led to some projects and also one patent application. And we are also promoting international collaboration. So joint projects, as Dr. T.S. Rao mentioned, there are opportunities of joint projects between India and several countries. So right now we have Indo-Norway project going, and we have one project with Belgium, one project with UK, and one project with Sweden, and another with the American Society for Microbiology and India, United States Science and Technology Fund. So we promote these kind of activities, and we help the faculty to develop proposals for this kind of funding. And another important activity in Nitte for encouraging research is recognizing talent. So Best Researcher Award is given at university level, and at institution level, Best Paper Award is given. And to promote student research, annual university level Anveshan is conducted. There is poster competition for students, where students from undergraduate to doctoral level can participate. And 5 from here are selected to go to regional level Anveshan, which is conducted by the Association of Indian Universities. And Nitte was quite successful in some of these. In 2019, Nitte participant got the second place. Srividya got second place in Applied Sciences at National Anveshan. And in 2020, only the regional Anveshan has been held, but in even the regional Anveshan, 2 first places were got for Nitte, one in Applied Science category and another in Health Science category. And Nitte, we also publish a journal. It used to be called Nitte University Journal of Health Sciences. Now we have tied up with TM Publishers. So this is coming jointly with TM as the Journal of Health Science, Health and Allied Sciences. And now all the process of manuscript submission and refereeing is done online. And this is the latest issue that is available online. So it's accessible. Now it is free, and it is also indexed in Web of Science. So it's a UGC approved journal. Now I'll come to what we are doing in the area of IPR protection. So Nitte Board of Management has adopted a policy on intellectual property right protection, considering that the work of faculty is resulting in intellectual property that needs to be protected. And when any application is made, the ownership of this intellectual property will be with the university, because the activity is carried out in the university with many times university funding. Now, if investigators have carried out research under a sponsored program where another funding agency is involved, then there may be an MOU with the funding agency. So in such cases, this type of patent application may be for a joint ownership of intellectual property with the funding agency, or full ownership by the sponsor as per the MOU, or it could also be exclusive licensing. Now, if it is a industry-funded activity, maybe the industry can ask for exclusive right, licensing right. So these things can be decided. So there is provision in the policy of the university to allow these possibilities, and MOU will specify the conditions for the ownership of these rights. And if Nitte faculty go on study leave to another organization and develop intellectual property there, then how it works also will be decided jointly between Nitte and the organization and the investigator. And Nitte will be the owner of copyright of all work, including software that is developed through using resources. And, for evaluation and protection of intellectual property, the Directorate of Research of Nitte will coordinate all activities, and the faculty involved, if they have any IPR that needs to be protected, so they need to provide information to the Research Directorate. There is a prescribed format through the head of the department and institution, and it is important that the is filed before publication or in any public domain. The Directorate of Research will screen the application for adequacy of information, and will also perform prior art search and see whether the invention being talked about is eligible for Okay. And then there will be a technical committee which will evaluate this. There will be an internal technical committee with subject matter experts who will evaluate this. And then they will make a recommendation to the Vice Chancellor, who will take a final decision on whether we should go in for filing a patent application. And if it is cleared, then finally an online patent application may be filed either directly by the university or through a legal firm as required in each case. And of course, it all depends on the MOUs, as I mentioned, depending on the activity which has supported this research. And then there are also opportunities for commercialization of these inventions. So now, regarding technology transfer, also this Nitte policy has laid down the principles. So they need to identify potential firms or agencies that could be interested in obtaining a license to commercially exploit the intellectual property. Then Nitte will notify through the university website regarding the availability of this intellectual property for licensing and invite expression of interest. And then the Directorate of Research will coordinate the process of licensing and technology transfer. And terms of condition will be negotiated with the interested parties. It can be either an exclusive licensing or a non-exclusive, or as mutually agreed between Nitte and licensing. And revenue sharing will be decided as per the policy of the university at the time of licensing. And in the case of joint ownership, then it depends on the MOU. So the revenue sharing will also be decided based on that. And faculty need to be aware that for patent, before any patent is filed or publication is made, a patent application needs to be filed. So these are some of the patent applications that have been filed from Nitte. Some of them are in application stage, and some of them are they have been published. So we are going to apply for early examination of these patent applications. Now, another thing I would like to bring to the attention of everybody is regarding the Nitte University Technology Enabling Center. So we may have a research outcome which has been protected through IPR, but then unless it goes to an industry, it is not available to the society. So how to make it available to the society? So that's how Nitte approached the Department of Science and Technology to establish this Technology Enabling Center. And we are fortunate that the Department of Science and Technology has recognized the efforts of Nitte and sanctioned one of the 5 technology enabling centers in the country to Nitte. So here what is being done is to enable the intellectual property commercialization. So there is IPR and patent development, technology transfer resistance as per the policy of the university. And there is an incubation center. So a multidisciplinary translation, research, prototype development will be facilitated by this incubation center. And then the Nitte Technology Enabling Center, what we call as NU Tech. So this is a facility which can be utilized by various institutions around us. So the beneficiaries of this center could be various academic institutions, could be universities, agriculture universities or other colleges, conventional colleges, research institutes, engineering colleges, farmers cooperatives, agriculture industries, and also industries. So what we do is the center will provide infrastructure and technical support to entrepreneurs. It could be in terms of space or Wi-Fi facility or telephone and other infrastructure facilities that is required for entrepreneurs to study a technology that is available. And then the center will also provide training and workshop mentoring for the investigators, and also network between industry and the technology, those who are having technology. So the research institutions will be having technology, and then the entrepreneurs and the they will, and financiers probably, they are also required. So they need to be networked so that the industry can take off. So this networking will be done by this new tech facility, and consultancy services, technology transfer, new product development, testing, product certification. So these kind of facilities that are required for a product to go to the market will be provided by this new tech facility. So this is one of the new programs that has been sanctioned to Nitte by the Department of Science and Technology. We are going to have a separate webinar on this where more details will be provided. Yeah, thank you. So this is what Nitte is doing now to promote research as well as technology transfer. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Karuna Sagar.
Thank you.
We now move on to the most important, I should say, part of this program, because the word patent is something we all use quite often. But if we need to have clarity on this, we need an expert. And we are very fortunate that Dr. Sharan Gowda, who is presently working as Assistant Controller of Patents and Designs and Head of Biotechnology Group Patent Office in Chennai, has kindly consented to participate in this webinar. A PhD in biochemistry, an LLB from Mumbai University, and someone who has been a very meritorious student, as seen from the early days when he qualified for the CSIR UGC NET test, the GATE, as well as the SLET. It's only appropriate that such a qualified person occupies a position where the country needs to be led. His specialization has been in examining and scrutinizing patent applications based on traditional knowledge. Apart from that, he has been the coordinator for the Patent Office and National Biodiversity Authority India, and member of the expert group on Biological Diversity Act, which was formulated in 2002. His professional experience spans over 15 years in the patent office, indeed a long time. And before that, he has had about 3 years of experience in teaching biochemistry. And since 5 years before that, he has been in an expert committee member of the National Biodiversity Authority. A Young Scientist Award was bestowed on him in New Delhi, and having delivered several lectures on IPRs, on patent system in India, it is only that, of course, news about the answers to questions where registrants have asked, why is it that I have to pay money to patent my own research? What is the step approach to patent any medical equipment for the first time? What is the cost involved for patenting ideas, instruments, methods, procedures? And what are the most common mistakes during the process of patenting? And therefore, with such questions that have come in from the participants, we hope, sir, in having you. We will be very fortunate to have answers to some of the questions today. Thank you very much for accepting our invitation.
Yeah. Thank you, ma'am. Yeah, good morning, everybody. Hello. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Good morning. We can hear you. Please.
Good morning. Yeah, good morning.
So thank you for introducing me to the participants in this webinar. So it's a great opportunity for learning. Even I, Professor T.S. Rao and Karuna Sagar sir also given many inputs for the project and the research. So this webinar, though I had attended several webinars, so here it is quite interesting topic, IPR during the COVID times. So though the pandemic ripped throughout the world, so we are having a experience of maybe a lifetime experience. We are experiencing a different in the our daily routine activities. So though IPR office is fully not active but part of this, so during the lockdown we are working 50% in the office and 50% from the home. So that's what the MHA guidelines has given. So as you all aware, so even madam was asking some of the clarifications regarding that. So though I have not presented my slides because of the given time, so I'll be interested, as Professor Satish sir was telling about the filing of a patent. Maybe many are interested to know, so what will be the procedures adopted, or is there any changes in the procedures? So as Professor P.S. Rao sir was telling about the COVID-19 and their projects, and so we are also witnessing a lot of applications to on the inventions which are related to control the pandemic. So mainly the rapid kits, we have witnessed as an increase in the number of applications for the rapid kits for identification of this novel COVID-19, and the antiretrovirals and the compositions and retroviral compositions, including the herbal compositions. We are seeing the increase in the activities, and also they have filed them an expedited examination. Since 2016 we started with this expedited examination, and this examination can be availed by many people. So now they are using through this pandemic event, so they are applying for the expedited examination by paying additional fee, and that's also the maybe they want to commercialize the inventions during this. So yes, the IPR gives a monopoly for innovator, and these innovators, they can take the advantage because of the commercialization during these periods, and which will be definitely solve the problems what the world is witnessing. So when we speak of the filing of a patent, so a patent gives a monopoly for 20 years, everyone knows, and from the date of filing of application. So though there is a pandemic, lockdown and everything we are witnessing, but one should not wait for the completion of this and then only we can file. So though the physical filings are stopped at the patent office right now. So since 25th of March, we are not accepting the physical filings at the patent office. But so one can avail the, as Colonel was also speaking on the e-filing. So 24/7 one can file the e-filing, but it requires a digital signing by the applicant. So there is another way one can file the physical applications through the post. So we are accepting applications by post. So there is a acceptance of the patent office, and every day we are working. So there is a examination reports continuously we are issuing either through work from home basis or through the office basis. So 50% alternative day we attend the officers, so to the office, and work from home. So today I am working from home. So this is my part of the work from home, the attending the webinar. So we have, though generally applicants or agents may be facing problems, to address that problem, all the hearings are postponed. So if any agent or applicant willing to attend, then only we are conducting the hearing through video conferencing. Otherwise, the hearings are in general, they're all postponed. So only after lockdown, we will be taking up all those matters. And all the timelines during this, the time act as per the act and rules. we have a very stringent timeline, like patent application when you filed. So the provisional application you can file, and within 12 months, so you have to file the complete specification. So the question you may have that what happens in this during lockdown or during this pandemic period if I am not filing that. So is that abundant under 91 section 91? So no, we have extended that period post lockdown also up to 1 month you can file the complete specification. If your deadline is in the during this period of lockdown, so we have extended that period post lockdown. Whenever the lockdown ceases to exist, within 1 month you can do the patent filing by filing a complete specification. And what about the timelines for filing a request for examination or for that matter any form? So all the timelines of the Patents Act and rules are extended so till the lockdown ceases to exist. So same way the first examination report reply also. I'm very glad to hear that Professor Karnasagar has highlighted so the high IP policy and they are filed already patent applications. I have seen that acknowledgements. So very happy to see that. So the IP policy, elaborate IP policy is given. So it's a very good innovators, and it will help the innovators to achieve their goal along with the serving the institute and the society. So this is the filing by means of a digital signature, that is e-filing, or you can file through the physical filing. So one can want the information, any of our telephone lines are working during this pandemic also. Anyone can approach through the email or through the telephonic, so they can get a information from the patent office. Apart from this, madam has thrown some questions that so whether the what are the things we can have a patent. So though Indian Patent Act stipulates that some innovations are not patentable, so but you can have a patent. So like sir was talking of the vaccines. So anyone who develops the vaccines or vaccine compositions for the coronavirus, so they can have a patent on that vaccine. So it must have a different from the natural protein or RNA or DNA. Whatever the vaccine you are developing, it must not exactly the same copy of a naturally existing protein, DNA or RNA. So if anyone develops through either through recombinant means or through some other means, so they can have a vaccine patented and also vaccine compositions patented. So if you have a idea, so anyone can file a provisional applications, which you can file a complete specification within 12 months. So all the medical equipment, whatever is used, so they're all patentable in India. But the treatment of a patient, a process of treatment of a patient, so you cannot get a patent in India. But the same thing you can get a patent outside like US. So we don't have, so the proteins or DNA or RNAs which are naturally existing, you cannot get a patent in India, but their compositions, when you are making some pharmaceutical composition or vaccine composition, so that compositions as a mixture, you can get a patent on them. So the medical equipments, everything, even including the ventilators. So we have seen NRDC has patented that low cost ventilator model. So that equipment has patented. So all the equipments you can have a patent. A testing kits you can get a patent in India. So whether it is a rapid or elaborate procedure for the testing, so you can. But the diagnostics process you cannot get a patent in India. So apart from that, so you have so the filings, though examination we are with a reduced strength we are working, but we are not completely closed, though there is a lockdown. So we are working 50% and 50% from home. So we are issuing the first examination report. We are conducting the hearings. We are conducting the examination and grant of a patent applications. Everything is working as usual. So though it is locked down. So whenever you file an application, we are having a publications and also the examination and grant or refusals that are going on in the IPR offices. So that's what. So thank you, Nitte University, for giving me this opportunity to speak in the webinar. So though I had been in the Nitte University, I have seen your facilities. So wonderful. So thank you, Professor Satish Kumar sir and Professor Karna Sagar sir and Madam Indrani ma'am, and also Professor T.S. Rao sir. So as a co-panelists and as a speakers in this, you have given a lot of information. So thank you all. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Sharan Gowda. I think we have been very fortunate in having an elite group of people as panelists, those who are field workers, I would say. You may be administrators, but you know to guide the people who are in the business of doing research, in the business of wanting to patent, or in the business of wanting to have knowledge on how to go about whether with research or with patenting. We are extremely fortunate to have had you all. I am sure our Honorable Vice Chancellor, whose brainchild it was to have this webinar, would be very, I should say, happy to say a few words before I conclude. Sir, Mandari sir, can you please give your closing remarks?
Thank you, Indrani. I had a meeting at 11 o'clock. I thank you very much for organizing this, and the panelists, particularly T.S. Rao and Professor Gowda, was so we are lucky to have you on this particular program. I think all of you know that a nation becomes very strong unless we should have good research and innovation facility. And IPR is one of the indicator of this activity going on in the country. And with the guidance of people like you, I think we should have more IPRs and we should have more patents, and then only the economy will become stronger. I think the government of India has taken a lot of initiatives to make us self-reliant on research, innovation, and entrepreneurship skills. I think the responsibility is on us, the universities, higher education institutions, to take up research in a big way. And naturally, IPR and patenting is one of the very important areas we are looking. We are giving a thrust. This is one of the thrust areas of the university. Thank you very much. With this intention, we have done this program. Probably the time was very short. We'll have one-to-one interaction later. I think question and answer can be continued online. We can keep this line open. Later also we can interact with you. We can invite the questions from the faculty, particularly the research community. And I request India, Karuna Sagar and Indrani to keep this channel open and get the answers to their queries. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you, madam. Thank you.
I would like to thank all those who have registered for this program. It speaks for their interest in taking forward whatever they are ideating, whatever they want to innovate, and whatever they want to take to a translational level. So thank you, registrants, the young people, and the senior administrators who will be there to handhold all of you during the course of your research. Thank you all very much, panelists, and
Thank you, madam.
Sadhana for participating.
Thank you, madam. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Thank you, Dr. Nasagar. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Gowda.
Yeah,
Thank you,
sir.
Satish Kumar. Thank you. Nice.